Hello everybody, it's Karen McLaughlin here, certified personal trainer in extremely hot and humid Hamilton, Ontario, coming at you with my usual Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Facebook Live broadcast. I don't know about you, but I am just cooking. We went from like mild spring to like summer heat wave like that, and the past 2 days it's been really just disgusting here. So if I look really hot, sweaty, and frizzled out, yeah, that's what's happening. Okay? So ignore the way I look and just listen to what I have to say. Alright? So this week I'm back at you again with Diet Cleanup Part 3, Eat Your Veggies, which I've been doing in little tiny installments. I took a break last week and we talked about using action to create belief or to build belief in your ability to change something. So if you missed that one last week, it was fairly short. I was trying to get under 15. I think it went to 20, but if you missed that, you might want to go back and look at that. They're all on YouTube now, so really easy to find. If you just go on YouTube, Your Fitness, look for your Fitness Groove, and you'll find my channel. Everything's there for you. Okay. So this week, like I said, I'm back. I'm going to switch back to the veggies. I just took a little break from it for a while. And so what we covered already in this series was number one, avocados, eating half to a whole avocado a day. So if you haven't got that one under your belt yet, you might want to go back and rewatch that. I have to say I'm really rocking that one right now, and for me they're just so beneficial because for me they're a great appetite control thing. I just don't get hungry and I don't get sugar cravings and stuff like that when I get my avocado in. And there's so many ways to use them and I talk about them all. So go back and watch it if you missed it. Then the other one was leafy greens, 1 to 2 cups a day. And again, if you missed that, go back and watch that one. So if you've followed me along and you're doing those things, you should already be getting 2 to 4 servings of veggies a day, no problem, because I said half to a whole avocado and 1 to 2 cups of greens, so that would be 2 to 4 servings of veggies total. And we're trying to get at least 5. So you're really solidly on your way there if you've got those 2 habits already under your belt. This week I'm going to talk about the orange veggies, because you do need a serving of these daily as well. That's what our Canadian guidelines say, and I'm pretty sure the US guidelines say the same thing. And if they don't, well, they should. So anyway, you definitely need a serving of orange veggies every day. And most of us know that one of the reasons why, which is that they're such a good source of beta carotene, which our body turns into vitamin A. And there's very few foods that are really good sources of beta carotene / vitamin A. So that's why it's really important that we get them regularly. It's really super easy to get enough beta carotene and vitamin A if you're eating your orange veggies. If you don't include them, it's quite difficult. And surprisingly, in food surveys, I don't know about the absolute latest food surveys, but I know back in my dietitian days when food surveys were done, it was one of the things I always found that a significant amount of our Canadian population was not getting enough, and I was like, how is that possible? But if you're not including orange vegetables, and also there's orange fruits that have it too, but I'm really focusing on the veggies right now. So every day you got to get at least 1 serving, which is half a cup, which is hardly anything, come on. So what are our orange veggies? Well, there's not that many of them, right? So carrots, sweet potatoes, and all your winter squashes. So there's a wide variety within winter squash, but if you ask me, they all taste pretty much the same. So, and then your pumpkin would be included in there with winter squash. So those are your 3 major orange veggies, and they're all kind of the fall and winter sort of things, but we can get them. Squashes maybe not so much, but carrots and sweet potatoes are easily available all year long at the grocery store. And the great thing about all 3 of these too is that they're some of the least expensive vegetables you can get. I mean, in the fall, I can buy a 10-pound bag of carrots for like less than $2. And I mean, talk about value for your food, it's crazy. So these things are so inexpensive and they're so healthy, so we really should be getting them. So it's just a matter of making a habit of doing it, right? So what are the benefits? I said beta carotene already, so we know that's important. And what it does, the functions in our body that it's really important for is number 1, our immune system, number 2, vision. Okay, there's all those jokes about vision and eating carrots and stuff like that that have been around for ages. So those are the 2 things that 2 biological sort of functions that it's very important for, beta carotene. And oh, I know what I wanted to throw in here. A tip is that if you eat fat with your orange veggies that have all this beta carotene, it's going to massively increase your body's ability to use the beta carotene. So they found that for carrots, if you have a little bit of fat with it, it increased, I think, by 53% the amount that was used by the body. And, oh wait, no, carrots was 63 and sweet potatoes was 53. But anyways, you're going to be able to use a lot more if you have a little bit of fat with it. So, you know, if you're eating a salad and you put carrots and you have dressing, there's some fat. If you are roasting sweet potatoes and you're drizzling with olive oil, there's some fat. So it's, you know, kind of a perfect marriage. It's things that we would usually do anyways, but I just thought I'd throw that tip in there. So in general, with your veggies, eating a little bit of fat will help the absorption of a lot of the good stuff that's in there. So it's a good rule to follow. Okay. Some of the other things you might not know that aren't as well known as the beta carotene as far as nutrients. Orange vegetables are a really good source of B6, which is one of those poor nutrients that is essential for life that never really gets a lot of press about how great it is. So, but B6 is really important for our immune system, and so therefore you really want to make sure you have enough of it. 1 sweet potato gives you 25% of your daily needs of B6, so very powerful. These orange vegetables is just like almost all the veggies. That's why I'm really spending so much time on this. It's important. They're so filled with nutrients. We really need this stuff, guys. What else was I going to say? Vitamin C is another one, which is in a lot of our fresh fruits and vegetables. So, but you will find it here in the orange ones as well. And those antioxidants that I mentioned that were in avocado and also in leafy greens, lutein and zeaxanthin, that really nice, easy to see and say and spell, antioxidant, those are both also in your orange veggies. So if you remember, those are super, super critical for eye health. They maintain the health of your macula, which is really important. And if you know anybody with macular degeneration, you don't want that. So and they also help prevent cataracts, those antioxidants. So all these veggies are super important for your eye health as well. And I think that's all I want to say about nutrients. I mean, certainly there's other stuff in there. There's minerals, a lot of like potassium and those sorts of things. But those are the key ones that maybe are more concentrated than they are in some of the other ones. And as far as disease prevention, cancer and heart disease are 2 things that it's pretty well known that orange veggies will help you to reduce your risk of. So I hope I've convinced you that they're important. So now how are we going to get that 1 serving a day into us? So, I mean, and this is why, for me, this one, I talked to you guys when I was talking about leafy greens, and I admitted that one has always been a struggle for me, and I gotta tell you though, accountability, I've been rocking that one since I did that. Ever since I did that video, I've been extra working hard on that one, because I don't like to be a do what I say, not what I do person. If I'm telling you guys to do it, I should do it too. So I've been extra attentive on the leafy greens, and I've been really, like, I'm now, like, really into it. So I'm really looking forward to it every day. And so I shared that this was not, I grew up in a house where I didn't, there wasn't hardly any fresh vegetables. It wasn't part of my childhood, or, I got into early adulthood and I had to train myself to do this stuff. And we all know it's harder to build those kind of habits if they weren't established in childhood. But because I was so into nutrition, I did. So if I can do it, and pretty much only vegetables I ate in childhood was like mashed potatoes and iceberg lettuce, and I wouldn't eat cooked carrots. I wouldn't eat anything green cooked. Like, I'm telling you, hardly anything. I might have eaten a raw carrot eventually, but probably not until I was at least 10. So what I'm trying to tell you is, you know, this stuff did not come naturally to me, and now I'm totally eating lots of veggies. So anybody can learn to do this. So if you're not getting those 5 servings a day, trust me, you can do it. It just takes a little bit of attention. So, but since probably early adulthood, carrots have been my friend. So, and that's the easiest one. I mean, we can get them all year round. It's so quick. I once did this thing where because people buy the little bag baby ones, and they're so much more expensive, it's ridiculous. And I did this thing where I timed myself to see how long it would take me to chop up a pound of carrots, and how much extra you paid per pound for the little baby ones. And I think I figured out that it was like, I can't even remember, but it was like you were making about $20 an hour by cutting up your own. Like, it was ridiculous. It's not hard, guys. You can do it. And the whole carrots just keep a lot longer in your fridge than those little baby ones. Those things go mushy so quick. Anyway, so carrots, super easy. Like, carrot sticks in your lunch. It could not get any simpler than that. You just have to remember to do it. So if you don't have that as a habit, that's a super easy one. And if you're not a fan of them yet, like, it's hard for me to imagine, except for like if I think back to when I was like about 5, you know, I didn't like them. But carrots, to me, like, they taste good. They're a little bit sweet, they're crunchy, you know. It's not like some of the it's not like Brussels sprouts that maybe they're smelly or whatever. So to me, they're kind of the easiest one to get your foot in the door if you're not eating any orange vegetables right now. So that's like super basic. Have half a cup of carrot sticks with your lunch every day, and there you go. You've got your orange veggie. But if you want to branch out from that, sweet potatoes, again, awesome, super cheap, available most of the year round, if not all year round. And there's so many things you can do with these guys. I roast a big pan of them all the time, and back in one of my other videos when I was sharing meal prep tips on how to make it easier to cook healthy food from scratch, if I'm turning my oven on anyway, I'll just chop up a pan of vegetables to roast, and I'll either throw it in alongside what I'm already cooking if the temperature's good, or else if the temperature differential is too much, I'll just, as soon as the other thing comes out, I'll throw them in. But I gotta tell you, roasted sweet potatoes with pineapple and a little bit of onion in there, drizzled with, I use coconut oil, but I mean, you could use olive oil if you prefer, but I really like the coconut oil. And just fantastic. I mean, you don't even feel like you're eating your veggies. It's so good, it's almost like dessert. And I often have that for part of my breakfast. I know people are like, you eat roasted vegetables for breakfast? Yeah, I often do. I mean, sweet potatoes they are sweet. And I don't think you'll ever catch me eating broccoli at breakfast time, unless maybe there was a little bit in a frittata, but sweet potatoes are just, again, such a pleasant sort of sweet flavor. So yeah, that's one way. Another way I'll work them in is I often have roasted sweet potatoes as part of my breakfast. And squash. I'm going to admit up front, squash is my least favorite of all the orange vegetables, so I tend not to eat as much of it. However, my husband is like a pumpkin maniac. He loves it. So all your winter squash, which would include pumpkin, are under the umbrella of so Acorn, Hubbard, Butternut, I think it's Buttercup. I can't even name them all. All those squash, all the orange ones, obviously, because we have like zucchini and yellow squash, the summer squash, they don't count because they're not orange. So all those ones, if you like them, which I don't. See, I admit it. I don't like everything, but I do like I love my sweet potatoes and carrots, so I'm still good. But squash, it's a little bit more of a pain in the rear end, if you ask me to, because they're so hard to cut up. I have really good knives, and I'm pretty strong, and I still find them a pain in the rear to cut up. So I think if you have a microwave, which I don't, but I think you can poke it and soften it, poke it with a fork so you get holes in it and soften it up in the microwave a bit. But don't quote me on that. Like, Google that just to make sure I'm right if you're going to try it, because I'm not sure. Or you get your big, stronger than you 20-year-old son or your husband or somebody to cut up for you. But squash is really good if you just cut it in half, scoop the seeds out, and bake it. Like, people who like squash will really like it like that. And the other way that, I mean, you can roast squash too, like you can cut it up into chunks and roast it, and I might probably even eat it that way, because most vegetables, like, roasting them just makes them good. And the final way that really is good for all three of them is not in this weather, but in the cooler months, soup is a perfect way to get some orange veggies in. So I make combinations of, and yes, I will even put some squash in here, even though I don't particularly like it by itself, but I do tons of soups with sweet potato, carrot, a little bit of squash. You can do different proportions, mix it up, see what you like. Sweet potato and apple is really fantastic as a soup, so you can totally experiment to see what you like the best. So as I said, from, like early fall until it gets hot like this in the late spring, soup is a really good option. And it's if you have a microwave at work, it's you can take it with you for lunch, and it's a good way to get in that dose of your orange veggie there. And oh yeah, pumpkin, the one my husband cannot get enough of. Actually, my cat loves pumpkin too, if you can believe it. She's a really weird animal, but anyway. Pumpkin is good for all those things I just said, but also it's great for baking too. So if you're going to make muffins or quick breads or stuff like that, throw some pumpkin in, make a pumpkin one, and you're not going to get a full serving in there, but it's another way just to sneak a little bit more in, especially if you have kids who are at that super finicky stage and they won't touch anything that has certain textures with a 15, 20, 30 foot pole. It's a good way to sneak it in there. Smoothies are another good way to sneak it in. Yeah, I think I've covered the major ways you can get these veggies into you. And like I said, to me, like, it couldn't get simpler than cutting up some carrot sticks. Like, it's super easy. You can even eat if fast-paced, super busy lifestyle, you can cut up a carrot in under a minute and you can walk down the street eating it. Like, if you're too busy to do that, you need to work on changing your schedule. So, this week, your mission, if you haven't already been doing it, is to consistently get one serving of orange veggies into you every day. And you can do it, because I just told you how, right? That's what I'm here for. And I think that's really everything I could think of that I actually wanted to say about orange vegetables today, and it's probably more than you wanted to hear. A couple things before we go. Number one, very exciting, and I meant to mention this at the top, but of course I jumped right in and I forgot. I finally have a new website. It just about killed me. It took a lot of yelling at WordPress, but yourfitnessgroove.com is now up and running. I'm certainly going to be tweaking it and adding more to it over time, but it's got all the basic info there, so if you want to know a little bit more about me or what I do or how I can help you or get in touch with me, that's the place to go, yourfitnessgroove.com. And pretty soon I'm going to have a little box to sign up for my newsletter there too, if you've been wanting to do that. And I already mentioned my YouTube channel, which is called Your Fitness Groove as well, but just search for that on YouTube and you will find it. And I will be having a link from my website to that pretty soon too, but haven't quite. And even some of the videos, I think I'm just going to embed them on the site so you can see them there. And final thing, I'm still working on getting the dates finalized for my summer outdoor exercise class in Churchill Park, which I'm hoping is going to work out. It's looking like it'll probably be Thursday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. I'm just not sure. Probably right after Canada Day we're going to start. I just got to make sure that I get the okie dokie from the city for that. It's going to be super fun. You can either buy 5 classes for 5 classes for $50 up front, or there's going to be hopefully more than, I think I'm going to be doing somewhere between 8 to 10 weeks, but just in case we get rained out a few times, I'm going to sell a 5 class card, and then hopefully we'll get in at least 5. And if we get in more than that, we'll work it out later. Or you can do, so 5 classes for $50 or $15 for a drop-in if you just want to come in occasionally and check it out, okay? And it's going to be tons of fun. It's going to be for anybody, like all fitness levels. So if you're a total beginner, you'll be fine. If you're more advanced, I think we're going to be doing some stuff that's totally different than maybe other things you've done in the past. This is not going to be a like sweat until you drop kind of class. This is a mobilize and strengthen class where we're going to be spending a lot of time really getting to know our joints a lot better and spending a lot of time working on some more subtler movements, really noticing different tensions in our hips and our shoulders, working on our hands and our feet, sort of areas that we just totally usually ignore until something goes really wrong, which is the wrong time to start worrying about it, right? But that's sort of human nature. I'll just keep going until things seem like they're totally falling apart. Yeah, I've done it too. Anyway, so I think I'm really excited about this class because I think it's gonna be super fun for me to teach. I think you're gonna get a lot out of it, and I think your body is just gonna start feeling better, and you're probably not even gonna realize how tight some areas were up until we start working on it, and then you're gonna be going, whoa, holy, I never realized, and then we'll start to change it, get some more mobility and strength into those areas so that they're more stable. Especially the hips, and so, well, hips, I mean, everything that I just said, hands, feet, hips, shoulders, we ignore all of those things, and they're really vital, and they affect other areas of our body. So, anyway, that's my spiel about the class, and I will have, once I have it totally finalized, I'll make a Facebook page, I'll let you guys all know, trust me, you'll know. But I'm really excited, so please, if you know people in the West End of Hamilton that would be interested in attending, please do help spread the word, because I think it'll be really fun, but I can probably only take sort of 10 to 12-ish people for the class. So if you are interested, or you know somebody who is, you can like sort of reserve a spot in advance if you're committed and you want to pay me up front. Otherwise, it's like the drop-in is first come, first serve, and if I hit my limit, then I am going to have to turn people away. But anyway, super excited. It's going to be a ton of fun. You guys are going to learn a lot from that, and next week, hopefully, I will have the firm information about that ready for you. And I think that is everything. So, like I said, keep moving and eat your carrots, okay? Alright guys, that's it for me this week, and I hope you're not I'm dripping with sweat right now, so stay cool. Keep moving, but stay cool. Don't go running at noon, please. I want to say a bad word about these people, but like really, you should not go running at noon when it's 40 degrees Celsius. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are, okay? Don't do that, please. Go early in the morning, go late at night if you really have to run, okay? So be sensible in the heat. And I will see you next week when hopefully it is not 40 degrees Celsius anymore. Okay? Bye, guys.